Now, John Paul, obviously we can tell by the accent you're not from around here.
You think? I thought I might be able to change the accent a little bit, but probably not. Yeah, that's correct. I'm from the UK. I've been in the business now for 20 years. Done 41 films on IMDb. Actually, I'm up to 43, but it takes a while for those films to be credited, including this one. And really enjoy working in the United States. Find the crews more professional over here. And I don't know, it's just a certain standard of professionalism that one doesn't normally get in Europe. I shouldn't be saying that because I probably won't get employed now, but anyway. But yeah, I really enjoy. And the great thing about being an actor is one's usually bored with their own personality, so it's about escaping into somebody else's skin. And sorry.
And is your home base in England or you're officially in the States?
No, I live in London, in the United Kingdom. Yeah, just come over here to do films as and when I'm required. So yeah.
And you do theatre work in London as well, right?
Well, I did do. I've done theatre work for 7 years. Although I'm doing something when I get back, which is a theatre play that's being shot on film. So it'd be nice to, because as it's being shot on one take continuously, it's really like doing theatre. In other words, the actors can't afford to fluff or mess up or deviate from character in any way.
How much pressure does that put on you?
A lot, yeah, particularly if you're not used to it, because, the thing about film is that, yes, you've got to get the nuances of what you're saying and the affliction of certain words, but you can have, say, potentially up to 10 takes to get that. In theatre, it's totally different because it's all about, you've got an hour and a half of play, and if you're the lead or one of the major roles, there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of pressure. But the key is to relax, And even if you do make a mistake, ad lib to get to the next stage. And usually, if you've got a good actor or actor person, let's not be sexist. If you've got a good person to work opposite, then usually you can get to that situation,
And you doing theatre back then, was it always your goal to make it to film and TV?
Well, yes, because unless you're doing West End theatre in London, provincial theatre is not really recognised. In other words, to get people from film and television to go and watch theatre outside London is difficult unless you've got casting directors or producers that are making films outside of London. So yeah, it can be kind of difficult, So. Yeah.
What's your favorite type of character to play?
Well, maybe I should answer that as to what sort of character I would like to play, because I've played all sorts from, serial killers to soldiers to hippies so I've played a variety of characters, but I'm looking at a script at the moment to play a drag queen, believe it or not.
Nice.
Because I've never, I suppose, well, in the UK anyway, I suppose I'm considered a bit of a macho man, So,
Yeah.
so it'd be nice to, explore something totally different and, get into one's, feminine side and be kind of interested. So, yeah.
How would you go about researching for a role like that? What would your process be in getting into that type of character?
Well, let me answer that. Not for this particular role, but I'll tell you about certain other characters. Let's say, for example, when I played this serial killer in a film called Messages with Jeff Fahey from Lawnmower Man, Lost, and Marty Coe from all the Crackhead movies. Basically, what I did is I looked at a lot of serial killers, over the years, American serial killers and obviously British serial killers. We had one called Peter Sutcliffe, who was a Yorkshire Ripper back in the 1970s. And I did actually try and visit him in prison to get an idea of his psychological profile, but unfortunately he wouldn't take my offer. He visits more he allows visitors from females, but not from males for whatever reason.
Maybe this next role would have came in handy for you.
Probably, yeah, that might happen, you know. But yeah, so you do a lot of research on, you know, various killers. I mean, the thing I found from all my research is the two really biggest single common denominators of those type of characters is their lack of remorse. That's the first one, and the second thing is that they're just able to blend into the community. You know, you'd never know. I mean, with Peter Sutcliffe, his neighbours thought he was an ordinary Joe. You know, that's the thing. So you take those, you take all the research that you do a month beforehand or however long you've got to do it, and so you immerse yourself into that research, and then as soon as you start shooting, you drop it all. Because subconsciously you've stored it all in your brain, so as and when a situation presents itself where you need that information, then you project it, you bring it to the screen. But the idea is not to act it, but to be. And that's difficult if you're playing a serial killer, because you can't really, you know, go and, you know, track, you know, females or, you know, no, indeed. But that's the whole point about, you know, learning what they do what they've done in a typical day, you know. And as I say, they are usually boring people. It's what they do at night. Something snaps, and they think what they're doing is normal, you know. They don't think there's anything wrong with it, and that's why you find a lot of serial killers the way they're portrayed is. You know, they really believe in what they're doing is right, you know, when it's not.
And speaking of serial killers, have you played a role that you've gotten so involved in that it actually starts to creep you out?
Well, there are different types of actors. There are method actors, and there are ones that wing it.
And which are you?
Well, I suppose I wing it, really, because, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I find that if you're in character all the time, you know, that's great, you know, and I commend actors like Daniel Day-Lewis, who, for My Left Foot, was, you know, when he was playing a paraplegic, you know, he was in the wheelchair for 8 weeks, and he never came out of it. But he's an extreme case. Great actor, but that's what he needs in order for him to work. I tend to come out of character in between takes and then get back into character. I find that I lose a lot of energy, particularly if you're playing something like that, if you're focused 24 hours a day. So that's my technique. So I'll be in character as soon as that red light on the camera functions. But as far as in and out, I kind of, you know, be myself or just come out of character. Now, that works for me. Doesn't necessarily work for other people.
And it's easy enough for you to go from yourself, and as soon as you see that red light, you can snap right back.
Yeah, really, yeah. You know, I just find that it works for me. But as I say, everybody has different techniques, and what works for one is what's good for the goose is not necessarily good for the gander.
That's right. Now, you spoke about the theater play that you're going to do, or sorry, not the theater play, the play for a movie, which sounds amazing. One shot definitely won't be easy. If you do make a mistake in that case, how do you go about correcting that? Is it literally just the show must go on and you're rolling with it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, all I know is I've got 1 week's rehearsal with the other actors, 1 week's technical rehearsal. That's where you know, rehearse with the cameraman, the sound guys, and all the crew. And then we've got 2 weeks to shoot it. So, yeah, I mean, I to be frank with you, I've not done it before, so I don't know how they're going to play it. It just seems an interesting idea, and I like experimental ideas, and so that's why I agreed to do it, you know.
Great. Now, speaking of experimental, little experiment I have is about people's socks. I believe it tells about your personality.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I'd like to know what socks you're wearing today, if you'd be willing to tell me.
Sure. Well, I'm wearing grey, thick socks. And you might ask the question why I'm wearing thick socks. Well, I suppose because I'm in Erie, Pennsylvania, I kind of think that the weather, which we know hasn't been great over the last couple of days. So that's the reason why I'm thick socks. And the other reason why I'm wearing grey is because they're the only socks I've got left.
All right. You've come to that point.
Yeah.
And today's your last day here, so that makes sense.
Yes.
Do they always match?
The socks?
Yes.
Not always, no. You know, because for whatever reason they don't, you know, and you wear a certain amount of socks and they lose colour, don't they? So, but yeah, in this particular case, it's just a case of I haven't got any other clean socks, you know, so these are the last pair.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
No worries.
It's been a pleasure meeting you.
You too, you too.
Thank
Okay.
you.